Welcome back, everyone, to the, I guess, final episode where we're looking through some comics of Onslaught. The Onslaught story is finished, right? We got there. It's done. But there's a couple of issues that I wanted to showcase. That was the end of the storyline. Kind of shows the fallout of it a little bit. So we're going to look at Uncanny X-Men number 337. Mostly I like this one because of the art by Joe Mad. It's really good. I really like this cover. I like Jean Grey's face there without her mask or whatever you have, part of her costume. I like the rippling effect that's in Rain if they're looking at like a photograph, because Storm doesn't have that dumbass haircut and Wolverine isn't stupid Wolverine. He's normal Wolverine down there. Just happier times. I like this issue because it allows you to take a breath. I know there's another storyline coming on up after this, Operation Zero Tolerance. I'm not going to get into that because I found it quite boring. But before they got into something with like another action storyline, there's just a moment just to be like, okay, big stuff happened. Let's just settle down. So, you got Wolverine here. Things change, people change, you, me, every one of us, every day of our lives. The day you stop changing is the day you die. I'm not going to talk like Wolverine like that because I feel like this writer didn't make him sound as stupid as he did in that one issue of Wolverine. So he is still stupid Wolverine with these he's a big hairy beast thing. But Joe Mad is just a better artist at drawing him, so you kind of like don't mind as much. But he is still stupid Wolverine. I hate this version of him. So he's talking with Professor Xavier, and they're just having this conversation about how Xavier is just feeling so bad for himself because of what Onslaught did, and it was his fault. And Wolverine's trying to make him feel better about this whole situation. So we're not going to go into all of this, but that's basically the conversation they're having. And they're back at the Avengers mansion. Like, there's huge portions of it that are fucked up from the initial battle. So I did always enjoy like this silhouette of Wolverine in the rain right there. I thought that was always a cool visual. And Wolverine's saying, like, I know how you feel. It's hard to struggle with your inner demons. Like, I get that. And Xavier's like, hey, don't try to, like, say we're the same thing. Like, you wrestle a beast within you, which is noble, but, like, I had this fucking crazy entity that killed 30 of the world's most beloved heroes and caused all this chaos and terror and this, this shit that happened on New York City where I'm sure a lot of people died. Don't trivialize my experience by comparing with your own. So it's like, ha ha ha, I ain't rising for that bait. I thought I was the original king of pushing people away. It's like, you're pretty, even without your powers, you're good at playing mind games. He's like, you have no idea. Look at his fucking eyebrows sticking out like that. That's just nuts. So, and this is what I'm talking about. This is Bastion. He's part of Operation Zero Tolerance. I think it says, Operation Zero Tolerance. Basically, they're going to blame mutants for everything. The world saw the X-Men, who are mutants, who they already do not like, go into battle against Onslaught, a mutant, who, as far as they know, that looks like Magneto. And the Avengers and Fantastic Four, who everybody loves and has saved the world countless times, even though the X-Men have done it also, that they went into battle and it looked like the X-Men turned on them, right? They jumped into this thing and then the X-Men shot at them and this whole thing blew up. They have no understanding of the whys and whats of what happened. So this is going to be a bad time for mutants again. And you got Graydon Creed, who's the candidate for the president of the United States. And he's going to take this opportunity to try to get more voters and all that. You got Peter Parker here as Spider-Man, and he has to, he's part of the news, so he has to do his job. And he's like, this fucking sucks. He's a sleazeball. I lost people, and this guy's turning into a soundbite. There's a cool issue with Spider-Man of Uncanny X-Men drawn by Joe Mad that has like Spider-Man in it a lot that I'm going to get to really soon, hopefully. So they're just Fox News just showing this asshole Graydon Creed, and J. Jonah Jameson is watching it, and he's like, the man sells papers, you got to give him that. But he's talking about there's something more with this guy. He's not just doing it to get votes. Like he really believes it for some reason. I don't think most of the world knows that Graydon Creed is a son of a mutant, Sabretooth. So they're going to start looking into that, it looks like. And then this is a kind of cool transition. So he's talking, if we don't act now, all we'll have left is nothing. That's Graydon Creed. And it's being broadcast on the radio, which is on this alarm clock. And it starts beeping at 7:03 a.m. And Cyclops wakes up. And he just blows it up. Because he just woke up. And he's like, that was not what I wanted to do. Use my power as a snooze button. He's like, maybe Jean won't notice. Like, okay, the second most powerful, but actually she's the world's most powerful telepath. Because Xavier doesn't have any powers. But he's like, for a second, things felt like normal for a moment. So he goes in the bathroom, and just this moment of him thinking to himself about how what happened and how everything sucks. But you see, he goes in and gets his ruby quartz glasses. He has these goggles on so he can sleep. So this is kind of a cool moment. And as he puts them on, he sees behind him Beast in the reflection of the mirror. And he reacts and he shoots the mirror, and it goes bouncing off and it hits Beast and he falls in the tub. So Beast had been gone for a while. He was replaced by evil Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse storyline. Someone had asked me in one of the comments, what happened to that storyline? And I'm not 100% sure. I think something happened. It was ultimately resolved in X Factor. Dark Beast was working for Onslaught, and he was trying to get more minions, and he was trying to persuade, I think, Sabretooth and Mystique. I don't know what was going on with them, but they were working for X Factor, I think, against their will. And he was trying to convince them to join him, but they didn't. They were decided not to, and Havoc was part of it. He was like, had his memory change, or he was under mind control again. It seems like that happens to Havoc quite a bit. So, and I think it was Sabretooth who realized that the Dark Beast who was posing as Beast at one moment wasn't him, and I think he kind of like fucked him up a little bit. So I think that's what happened there. So he got free, and he's all happy now. So they're just chit-chatting about all that same shit. Very good, fun art by Joe Mad. You know what I mean? Even if the story is just not interesting, I mean, this is kind of interesting. But it's a joy to like look at this kind of his art back in the day. So he helps him out of the tub, and then he slips on some ice, Cyclops does, and this Iceman playing a prank on them. And he's laughing his ass off, and this Cyclops like, oh yeah, well, now it's your turn. He shoots and misses, hits the mirror, and it reflects back and hits him. So they're making all this noise, and Jean Grey, she's like, I think going out for like world's sexiest mutant at this point in this little fucking robe, making sure like her chest is out and like you see a lot of thigh there. So good job, Jean. And she's talking with Quicksilver, who's fucking depressed as shit. Like, he just lost his wife. And I think they have a daughter. Yeah, he has a daughter. And he's like, I gotta go on for my daughter's sake. So, and he's hanging out with Jean and Cyclops. They have, like, outside the mansion, this own boathouse or something like that. So, he's just like a house guest. And she says, like, we're all with you. And she does this thing where she kind of comforts him, puts her arms around him, and he puts his hand on her. Just kind of embrace for a nice, touching moment. But then the door creaks open and like Quicksilver like gets up really fast and gets the fuck away as fast as he can and sets the table. And he's like, "Oh, is there? Yes. Well, is there anything else I can do to help prepare for breakfast?" She's like, "No, that's fine." So there's Psylocke. Where was she during this whole time? I know she was running around at one point. I don't remember. Hey, Rusty, you're back. Yes. And she has this Crimson Dawn mark on her face now. I mean, Psylocke was less... I mean, she's not as nearly as cool as she once was when she was first introduced in this outfit. And I don't think she ever got back to that coolness. But she says, Warren won't be joining us. He's not feeling well. And I think that's because... I don't know if I'm going to really look at it, but the issue... Angel's, he gets his feather wings back from his, they like erupt out of his metal wings. Rusty. So she's like, Psylocke's been going through some changes, and who really cares? And more stuff with Bastion, Operation Zero Tolerance, just doing shady shit, setting up that storyline. Rusty, move your ass. More stuff with them. They got some Sentinels that were left over from the Onslaught attack. Nothing big. It goes back to Wolverine, stupid Wolverine, and crazy eyebrow Professor Xavier. And they're still talking about what happened. Xavier feels bad. He's going through a self-imposed guilt trip. He's responsible for everything. And Wolverine's like, well, yeah, but let us help. And he's like, I thought like I could do everything like you're trying to do now, take on the world by myself, and I was wrong, and there was one person who helped me through it, and that was you, and me and a lot of other people feel the same way. So if you're gonna like leave or feel like you can't help us anymore, like that will suck for everybody. Rusty. So Gambit comes in, not in a costume, and he's talking about if I wore this trench coat long enough, it would eventually come in handy for the rain. I think you can tell, like, Joe Mad, like, he'd been drawing a lot, and so he's trying to skimp on the backgrounds as much as he can, which I don't blame him. Not a lot of backgrounds, but you get it. They're at a table. I like this... how he drew his like hair here and like he's like pulling it back because it's wet right there. I mean he's just a good artist. I just enjoy him. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for it. And I like the hair there also. And he's like, where's everybody? And they're like well, Rogue and Magneto, they left somewhere else because Magneto doesn't want to be around people yet, so they're not having breakfast with us. Cool shot of everyone at the table. There's a lot of stuff going on. Somebody passing the salt. Beast's pancakes are frozen, and he's like, that's cute, Drake, real cute. He's like, whoa, what'd I do? And Gambit talking to himself about Magneto and how he's called Joseph. Just a bunch of stuff. And then the door opens and everyone whooshes to look to see who it is. Rusty. And it's Wolverine's. And he's like, Chuck isn't up to company right now, and he's like, hey, I tried. So he sits down, and I think Gambit's like, yeah, can you shake off or something? You smell like a fucking wet dog. He's gonna eat or what? Here you go, Logan. Thanks, bub. And so they say grace, and there's a little joke here where he says, in words of one syllable, thanks for everything. And then Gambit's like, that was 3 syllables. And he's like, clam it, Cajun. He's like, Gambit, don't throw that pancake. And you hear the zacked sound effect from Cyclops' visor. And he's like, got it. So just a nice little issue. Nothing really happens. But it's just, like I said, a nice little breather of everyone just like taking a moment. Heroes Reborn shit. Jim Lee, good art, not his finest work, but 100 times better than Rob Liefeld. I do not get Rob Liefeld, what do you call them? Not sympathizers, but people who like defend his work so harshly. Like, he's a genius. He was just lightning in a bottle. He was born in the right place at the right time. Anyways, who fucking cares? Okay, so there's that issue. And then we're going to quickly look at this issue of X-Men. When I was younger, I would have a bunch of these, pretty much all these issues that we went through in a pile, and that was my Onslaught pile. And every now and then I'd read through it. Ow, Rusty, you bit me. And these last two issues were part of it that I would always read along with it. But as I'm reading this issue of X-Men, drawn by Andy Kubert, there's not a lot to say about it. It's an interesting storyline, but in a video like this, it's kind of boring just to talk about. Not a lot to say in depth. So I'm just gonna go through it quickly. Rusty, you gotta move, buddy. And it says farewell to Xavier, and everyone's sad and he's leaving. So just quickly, he's going through, he's trying, Rusty, get the fuck out of here. Quit biting me. Go. Jesus. Oh my God. Just let me get through this. He's trying to make sure he doesn't have any powers. He's asking Cerebro to scan for him, and they're like, no, nothing is detected. And then somebody rings the doorbell. And it's Valerie Cooper. She's the government liaison to Mutant Affairs. She heads up X Factor. Havoc is part of X Factor, and Cyclops is like, have you found him? Is he still missing? And like, yeah, we don't know where he is, but that's not why I'm here. And she says, I'm here to take Professor Xavier. And Wolverine's like, oh, fuck you, bitch. It's funny, Val, ever since I toppled over the edge a while back, went full throttle fear, and all my senses have gotten even more heightened. Your point, stupid Wolverine? I must have misunderstood you. You meant to say you came to talk to Chuck, right? She's like, don't make this harder than it already is, you fucking wet dog. So Cannonball and Iceman are coming in here, and he's totally trying to like look up her skirt. And they're looking at videos of Graydon Creed, because what they're going to do is they're going to infiltrate his campaign. They need to keep a better eye on that. So they're just watching videos of that. Of course, you'd want to get like white men on that. And nothing. She's here to arrest the professor. That's a fucking weird looking leg with the seam of the nylon or whatever. That's kind of a cool angle of Wolverine, even though he looks stupid as shit. And she's like, yeah, we need to test Xavier. All this shit happened because of him. We need to make sure that nothing like that's going to happen again for the safety of the world. And they're like, fuck you. Storm comes in. She's like, she has a point. We have to, like, make sure everybody feels good about what's going on. She has a justifiable concern. Something with Beast. He's in his, like, a human form with, like, a hollow emitter, talking to his girlfriend, Trish Tilby, and I don't know. They're talking about nothing that really matters at this point. And then Jean Grey comes in, and she basically says, like, yeah, like, this sucks, but maybe it's the thing to do. And then Val Cooper here, she turns on, like, the news, and everyone's just, like, in sadness over what happened. And she's like, if this happens again, none of us will survive. J. Jonah Jameson, he's like gearing up to like look into this Operation Zero Tolerance shit, and Graydon Creed, he feels like there's some shit going on, and he's talking with Bastion, I guess. Who cares? More talking about Xavier. You can sit here and discuss this all you want, but there's no way you're dragging Chuck out of here to who knows where, unless it's over somebody's dead body. Stupid Wolverine. So, Bishop and Wolverine are ready to like fuck up anybody who wants to bring him, but Xavier decides to go with them, and he's like turns into a different artist, and he basically goes with them, and he's not arrested, but he gets taken away by the government. So that was kind of just the end of that. So Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, Star Trek Early Voyages. So that's the end of Onslaught. Quick prologue of shit's going on, and ultimately Xavier got taken away by the government because of the shit that he was involved with. I can't ultimately remember what happens with that. I don't remember. I remember the X-Men were like trying to find out where he was, and like he ends up being like, they can't figure out where he was, like where the government took him. But I don't know. So as always, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video.